Hi, my name's Sue and welcome to Sue Marie P. Today I'm going to share a gluten-free chocolate brownie made with teff flour. Teff flour is originally from Ethiopia. It's an ancient grain that they've eaten for thousands of years. I've recently discovered it, so I've been exploring various recipes, and it's naturally gluten-free. If you're not into teff flour, you can probably use this recipe and swap it out for buckwheat, spelt, another gluten-free blend. I just haven't had time to test it, so if you'd like to see how to make this recipe, my teff chocolate brownies, come with me and let's see. So step one, pop your oven on to 170 degrees C with a fan, 190 without a fan, and as usual I'll pop the Fahrenheit measurements above and prepare your tin. I'm doing a square tin today. I think this one is about a 23 by 23. I've greased it with butter and lined it with scrunched paper. You can also do it in a rectangular tin. Here on my induction hob, I'm melting 150 grams of unsalted butter, and I'm going to throw in 150 grams, which is about 1 cup of dark chocolate, which I've broken up into small pieces. That's a 55% cocoa. So I find it best to just add a little bit of water to the bottom of the pot and simmer a glass bowl over the top. That'll take roughly about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're just going to let that do its thing. And I need to start mixing the eggs and the sugar. I think I need to bring the stand mixer over to the table. So give me a second and I'll just do that. Okay, we're all plugged in, ready to go. So in the bowl here, I've got 200 grams or 1 cup of just white sugar. If you can get caster sugar, feel free to use that. And 3 large eggs. I find with brownies, if you drop the sugar back too much, you don't get that nice glossy, crinkly, fudgy kind of look. Or you don't get the crackly, glossy look on top, and you don't get that rich fudginess in the middle. So this is not a healthy treat. So let's whip this together until it's light and creamy and fluffy for about 3 minutes. And keep an eye on your chocolate here. You need to keep stirring that just so it combines. If you're new here today, thank you for clicking on and consider subscribing. A big shout out to Shawn Gross in Canada. Thank you for your lovely donation last week. If anybody else would like I can't speak today. If anyone else wants to support my videos and my work, pop a donation via my PayPal link, or there's also a dollar symbol underneath on the YouTube, underneath my video. Every little bit helps. I do this, and I've been doing this as my full-time job, kind of an unpaid job for love, and just to share my recipes with the world. So every little bit helps to go towards filming, production costs, equipment costs, flour, eggs, all of that, just so I can keep doing what I do. I'm just going to bump the speed up a little bit on this. Our chocolate's melted, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to take the bowl off the heat and put it on a rivet. Just be careful because you get quite a bit of steam coming off it. And it is hot. I want to just get a little bit of air into this egg mixture. So we have this bubbly egg mixture. I'll leave that on. I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of vanilla. This is optional, but I thought it would balance out the flavours because teff flour is a little bit bitter and nutty for some people's taste buds. I'm going to sift over 100 grams of teff flour. This was the light version. 20 grams of cocoa powder, which is about 3.5 tablespoons. Teaspoon of baking paper. That was not paper, that was powder. Teaspoon of baking powder and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Popping that back on my mixer. Just going to give it a couple of short bursts. That wasn't meant to happen. I forgot I tried to take that off before. Short bursts of about 20 seconds. We don't want to wreck that mixture. Got this creamy chocolate mixture, and I'm going to pour that into the chocolate. Just going to gently fold that together. I've just realised, I think when I've made this before, I did sifted the cocoa powder and flour over the melted chocolate and then added the egg mixture. So let's see if I have spoilt it or if it actually turns out okay. Because I don't know if you're like me, sometimes you get sidetracked and you mix up the recipe. Okay, the reason we don't mix it with the mixer, we don't really want to destroy the fluffiness that we made. And it doesn't really need to be mixed. Grab your baking tin. I'm going to pour all that in now. It comes together quite quickly once you've melted everything. I like to tap it so there's no air bubbles. This is now ready to pop in the oven. And we're going to bake it for about 17 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye on it. It's better to undercook it so it's a little bit wobbly and not overcook it so it's all cake-like. Fudgy is best. The brownies are out of the oven and it was a little bit wobbly when I first took it out. It's settling down now and it's still shiny on top even though I messed up the way I was doing it today. Now, the best way I like to eat this is to let it completely cool on the bench for about half an hour to an hour and then pop it in the fridge for an hour, bring it out and then try and slice it. If you can't wait and you want to have it for dessert, have it as a warm chocolate brownie with a bit of vanilla ice cream and maybe some berries. But if you want to have it kind of just as a snack, I'd suggest letting it cool down, popping it in the fridge and then slicing it. I'll come back after that's all done and slice it up to show you and do a taste test. So I'm back to cut up my brownies. They've been resting in the fridge for about just a little bit over an hour. So they should be good to cut into. So I've just got a jug of hot water here to dip the knife in. So I've got a nice hot knife. I've cut quite small pieces today. So it's anything from 16 pieces. I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and cutting it into 4. So that's about 20 pieces, if I've done my maths correctly. And you can store these in the fridge for up to maybe a week or 2, and they also are fine in the freezer. It's not super even, but I've cut them like that. I'm going to try one. I just broke it off. Crinkly top, it's a bit crispy and fudgy in the middle. I think because there's so much sugar and butter and eggs, you don't really notice the teff flour. A good gluten-free alternative for anyone that you're baking for that's gluten-free. We now have 2 close friends here in Sweden that are gluten-free, so this will be a perfect one to bake for them. Hope you've enjoyed my teff chocolate brownies today. Let me know in the comments below if you give this a go, and I'll pop some links up above for a couple of other teff recipe ideas. And I'll see you next time. Bye. Yum, yum, yum.